the lady or the CEO that was there before, she opened up an ATM machine, but she never processed the deposits. She was putting it in a box. $200,000 claim later. Like I said, when I got that job, I didn't know that. You know, but I got the job and I was stuck with it. But anyway, so with Nikkei, it felt the same way. They handed me an LUA and it was a lot of pages. So, but today this is what it looks like. So, so I've been to Calcom since '96, Mattel 2004, and Nikkei 2014. But in between that was at City of Downey for 10 years. So this multiple credit union management has been around for me for more than 12 years. The first couple of years, I was a weird person. When I would walk up to the people, there's like, oh yeah, okay, you're that guy. They kind of still say that now, but they just talk about my weight. So we primarily serve healthcare, and then Mattel, we just toy around there. And then Japanese American community. These are the asset sizes, the number of members. Clearly, you know I'm averaging it. It's around 8,500. It's around 3,000. Full-time, part-time. You can see that these two are the same asset size, but you can see how more efficient the Nikkei credit union is compared to Calcom. I don't operate them the same. Each credit union has to operate the way that they need to operate, right? Just because the asset size is the same doesn't mean you have to operate it the same. Look how many branches they have. Look how many branches this one have, right? But that's the commitment that they have for their members. That credit union wants to do that, that's what they're gonna do. Look at their operating expenses, it's embarrassing. 4.4%, look at these guys. So we can operate the way we need to operate depending on the credit union. So they're all positive today, and that is one thing I'm really proud of. So after 4 years of negative earnings, average negative earnings 180,000. We're projected to be making 180,000 positive this year. I know it's not a lot of money, but if you're going from negative for 4 years in a row to positive, even if that was $1, I would be happy, right? So anyway, that's what it looks like today. The locations are all within that area. These are the couple branches. This is how the Mattel branch looked like a few years ago. It's on the foot or the first floor of Mattel corporate building. This is the Calcom corporate office. That's the inside. And I want to show you a couple other offices that we have. So this is Southgate City Employees, one of the ones that merged with us a few years ago. So this is in front of the yard, what they call it. If you look closely, you can still see that up there, right? The name of that credit union. It still shows that today, but on the little window here, it shows a division of Calcom. When these credit unions merge with us, we have no reason to try to take away their identity. That's really important for them. We just want to provide them the services that they want. That was the deal. In fact, my board members of Calcom consist of a bunch of chairmen. So when one is not there, all I gotta do is look to my left or right, they can run the meeting, because most of these, there's like 4 or 5 that are chairmen. At one point, almost all of them were chairmen because of all the mergers we've had. So a division, and we've been doing this since 2002. As far as having it as a division, because that way you can keep their identity. We do what we call a membership meeting because we can't really have more than one annual meeting. So we do our one annual meeting, which is kind of funny because when we do it at Calcom, we get 25 people. We pay them to get there, right? Some of you probably experienced that. And then we do their membership meeting where we do it at the yard. We get over 50 guys come out there. We have more people at the membership meeting than the actual annual meeting. But that's because we want to make sure we continue to provide what they're looking for. So here's some of the facts, the frequently asked questions. Yes, there's 3 sets of board of directors. There's 7 on each one. I put an asterisk on these 2 because I actually serve as treasurer on those boards. Nikkei, they don't trust me yet. So, and again, as I mentioned, there's a lot of chairmen on the Calcom board. Supervisory committee, we have 5 because the other 2 are actually, I guess some other credit union would call it an advisory, because they're the supervisory committee for the other branch. So when we merge credit unions, we try to see how we can get as many people involved as possible. Non-voting, but still involved. I think that should be what's important, right? Membership type, I already mentioned that earlier. And then everybody asks, so does that mean you have 3 board meetings every month? And I've never missed one. So Calcom is Monday, Nikkei's Tuesday, and Mattel is on Wednesday. And we do, yes, 3 separate budgets. Everything is drafted by October. It's the first time I present the budget. And then hopefully it gets finalized in November, because in December they get lazy. They just want to do the holiday party. And then we look at it again in June and adjust the budget accordingly. Planning sessions, Calcom they do it every 2 years, Mattel do it every 3 years, and then Nikkei do it annually. I think they really need to because of their condition. The business plan, we try to review that on a quarterly basis. Annual meetings, as I said, we get about 25 people at Calcom, even though it's one of the larger credit unions. Mattel gets about 125. We used to get 300 people go to that one. And that's because everyone got a gift. That was really hard. You know, the toys were free. And then at Nikkei, my first annual meeting was just a few months ago. They get about 250 people attending, really active membership. And I mentioned about the membership meeting. Calcom is the only one that does that because the other two, they don't have other branches. And then events, the one event that we do together is the financial literacy event. It's Vital Reality. So if there's nothing that you wanted to work together, that's probably one thing that you guys can do that would benefit all of your members, right? Because the Vital Reality or any type of financial literacy educational seminar will benefit our members. I was just talking to Dennis about this yesterday, and I said, you know, one of the problems is that we learn how to handle our finances from our parents because it's not in the curriculum, or at least in most schools. I heard that it's becoming more and more added on the curriculum, which is great. But us as a financial institution, that could be something that we can all work together to try to educate the mass or the consumer. Yes, we get 3 examinations each year. In fact, in Nikkei, they live there because of the LUA. They're there right now, and I'm so glad I'm here. So, so we are federal credit union at Calcom and Mattel, but Nikkei is a state credit union, but federally insured. Audit, we have 2 different type of auditors, or 2 different auditors. I know it would be easier if they were all the same. And 5300, yes, we have to file that all separately every quarter. Course system, now they're all the same. At one point, we didn't have the same course system. And our business partners, they're not always all the same. Just because this credit union worked with this Visa program doesn't mean they're going to work with that. They're not all the same. Every credit union is different. Our contract negotiation, that is one advantage. We always try to make sure that we use and leverage, between the 3 credit unions. And you can do the same. You don't have to have the same CEO. Just use Dennis's name. Just say that, well, we're all in the same league, right? Disaster recovery, we use Nikkei as a hot site. And then my schedule, I'm there 1 day a week at each of the credit union, and then on Thursdays because of all the committee. And then Friday I try to work from home because traffic is crazy in Southern California. I think you guys have here too, right? Yes. I'm starting to see that. I was like, what's going on? Average, and I hope that these cars are financed by credit unions, by the way. On the way here, we were driving, and then Becky and I got to talking, and I told her brake because the car in front of us was a brand new Lamborghini. I said, we probably don't want to get too close to that. And then the second thing that came to my mind is, I hope that's financed by a credit union. So, all right, yeah, finance one of those would be good for the month if you're a small credit union. So I try to keep all the meetings in 30 minutes. If you can't get to point within that time, I think it's going to be tough for me to be able to digest that. CEO expenses is split between the 3 credit unions, and then I do not have an employment contract. Everything is just result driven. If it fails, then that means I shouldn't be there anymore. So other things prior that we've shared is compliance officer. That's actually one of the pioneers that became the C Roots. That's now part of the compliance works with the league. And then currently we're sharing IT risk management officer, marketing officer, collections officer. And then the future that we're looking at is sharing other titles. To me, it's about the attitude. We're always trying to seek for opportunities in challenging situations, even in challenging situations. And also my leadership style is inspire instead of motivate. Meaning, I know it sounds the same, but I feel like motivated, you have to be there constantly or even have a physical contact. But inspiration is, I may not be talking to you, hopefully whatever it is that I did or I said is going to help you enough for you to figure out what you need to do. I have what I call a screen door policy. Come to me with a solution to the issue, not just the issue, because I think it's a good way for people to learn, right? We've had about 3 executives of ours that became CEOs of other credit unions. And I think part of that is they get an opportunity to learn as they go through the process. 90-10 rule, quantify to qualify. We are a cooperative, so we feel that if only less than 10% is being utilized of a product or service at our credit union, we really need to consider if this is something that we should sunset in the future, right? We try to use that kind of rule because we don't have all the resources. quantify to qualify, never produce anything that you don't have a cost analysis. Moon goal, don't set a limitation. If we didn't have that, such a far-reach goal, we wouldn't have achieved a lot of the things that we're doing today, right? We wouldn't have cell phones today if we didn't try to go to the moon. Because the only thing we did there is we shot a golf ball, right? But it wasn't because of what we did when we got there. It's that journey, right? It's all the things that we discovered. And so we try not to set the limitations. Only us, only yourself should be able to do that. My father have always expressed this thing to me. He's passed now. And he said, work to live and not live to work. He only worked the first 15 days of the month. He doesn't work after that. He was an executive for Toyota when we were in the Philippine Islands. I came when I was 14. And the reason why he came to the United States is because he had a heart problem. And so when he came to the United States, he started working for a health equipment company. He was a sales guy, and he only worked for 15 days, but he was still the top 3 producer for the company. So his boss always wanted him to work more because obviously the commission trickles up, right? But my dad always said, you know, I came here because I had a heart problem. I don't want to have to beat up myself anymore. He only works 15 days of the year. And then, unless you call it casino's job, but he's there the rest of the time. So, and this was more of me saying, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And this is important, right? For our advocacy, right? Even for our credit union, if our members don't know who we are, it's going to be hard for them to promote you somewhere else. The best advocate for us is our members. We can do all the marketing. We could have great marketing. But if we don't do a good job trying to get our members to be our advocates, it's going to be tough. But we need to be known by our membership. And last but not the least is taking the initiative and owning it. Whatever it is that we're doing, we've got to always try to do our best, right? So that's it for the shared CEO. I'm going to jump into the collaboration. The next few slides is talking a little bit more of how I think you should collaborate, or the steps of collaboration. So the description of collaboration, even better said by Garrett Perez, the CEO of USC Credit Union, together we're better. So again, what are the considerations why we're collaborating? Lower margin, increasing regulatory requirements, and I'm sure everyone knows, right? I think it's like, what, 6 or 7% is the only percentage of our credit unions in the financial market. So there's so much to still strive for. And that's why I don't even think that we're competing against each other, because we only have 7% of the financial market share. So there's so much for us to achieve for. And I think collaboration is the fundamentals of our credit union values. Isn't that how we got started? Right? We all put in, and those that need can take out, but make sure to pay it back, because we love those members that don't, right? And I do believe that it should be about our movement, not just about our individual credit union. And I know it's important that every credit union should do well, but I think that if we all kind of step back and look at how we can help the entire movement, to me that's really important. Collaboration benefits, again, reduces operational expenses. It could increase your delivery channel. You could open up branches and share it with other people, with other credit unions, and I can show you photos of that. We did that. Implement new products and services. Service could be a call center that you could share between other credit unions. Enhance staff skill and work experience, because some of you, even larger credit union, can go to a smaller credit union and get an experience of the day or the week, right? Because unfortunately, at a larger credit union, they have to be somewhat departmentalized, right? Because they have to, the volume was so high. So what an awesome way for the large credit union to send some of their employees to a small credit union and get to experience that, right? So Tuesday, you do EFT back office processing. Wednesday, you do lending. Thursday, you mop the floors. You just do everything, right? That was supposed to be funny. Okay. And then, oh, it's not funny because we do it, right? Potential resource of expertise and support. Again, it could come from both sides of the fence. Perfect example of what I just said. And then we always want to come together, lock arms, and try to negotiate. I don't want to say against our vendors, but you know, sometimes it helps them as well, right? It makes it easy for them working with a group of people in like mind. Makes their business plan a lot better, and their profitability. Succession planning. If we're already working together, maybe there's some people within these, because when you're a smaller credit union, you could be a 4-man shop or a 3-man shop, and unfortunately you may not have somebody there that is going to be part of the succession plan. But if you're working with other credit unions, that could happen, right? Like I said, we've had a couple that became CEOs of another credit union, and that's kind of how it happened. They've been working with some of our management team, and they felt like these guys were very strong. So when those folks made a change, then one of our management became their CEO. So disaster recovery, I don't need to talk about that. And then last but not the least, it could be just a survival for most of us, right? Some of the small credit unions. These are the obstacles, and I think you guys know this for sure. Lack of trust, that's probably the number one thing. Loss of control, analysis paralysis. Some people think about this too much. You're making it too complex, you're not getting it done. You gotta peel out the onion skin and just think of what the core is. What are we trying to do? Can we just go focus on that and then step back and try to make it simple, right? Lack of staff support, lack of board support. That's one thing that's important. You can't just be the executives coming to an agreement. You have to have the staff members, and more importantly, the board members to agree to this, because it's not gonna work. Because all it takes is a change of guard on the executive level and the whole thing will fall apart. If only those two people are working together. So everyone has to come together. And what SSCUA does, try to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to collaborate. The corporate culture gaps, definitely. I can tell you that Nikkei is a lot different from Calcom. There's a different culture there. You can just imagine. The IT infrastructure, if you don't have the same system, that might be a little bit more challenging. But not just the IT system, everything else. Doesn't mean you have to have everything lined up, but surely that would make life easier. Lack of security controls, that could be another issue there because of the account system. And last but not the least, traditional versus the unconventional way. Because we kind of sometimes focus on or do things because this is how we've done before. It's hard for us to imagine what could be different, right? Sometimes, and I urge you and encourage you to do this, when you're doing your planning, try to think about things completely on a different perspective. Bring somebody that is not even credit union related to your planning meeting to sit in and allow that person to make comments, and you would be surprised what you find out from them, right? And guess what? Sometimes we're not the best representation of our membership, right? I say that to my board members. I said, with all due respect, board, you guys have all 700 FICO score and above. You have money in the credit. I mean, not all of our members are that. In fact, I hate to say it, but you're not necessarily the members that we want to have moving forward because we want the ones to borrow money, right? I mean, it's just the truth. So we need to be respectful in thinking about that stuff. Steps to collaborate. Identify the needs and resources on both sides. What do you need? What are the resources that you're looking for? And then maybe trying to seek that partner, right? Seek for a potential partner with common goals. What if one of the larger credit union here has an excess office space and you're looking into branching out? Maybe that would work. So at our SCCOA meeting, we have an open forum. These are one of the things that we do. Somebody will just raise their hand and say, oh, I got this thing going, anybody want in on it? Or somebody would say, I'm looking for this, does anybody have this? It could be many things that you could be working together, right? So seek for potential partners with common goal. The biggest issue here is, where does this happen? This is a perfect opportunity for this to happen, is when you're having these get-togethers, right? Assess the relationship and mutual benefits, because you want to make sure both sides are going to benefit from this transaction, right? Implement a plan and then review the relationship and the plan. So just like any other things that you do, right? Collaboration could be two organizations, right? And you could go from there to a hub, more people working together. And so in this particular case, I shared a branch, literally a build like a small space, retail space, that I share with another credit union. So that was this. This was more, I shared a compliance officer. So, we backtrack what a compliance officer compensation would be, and we divide that accordingly. That's what we did. Not necessarily divided by 4. We took the number of members and the asset size. We kind of did some type of a math that worked for all of us. Or it could be a network, call center, and you've got all these credit unions. It doesn't matter what the size is. Okay, make the circle bigger or smaller. Who cares, right? Call center, because in the end, your credit union members will call that, State of Hawaii call center, State of Hawaii Credit Union call center. And then once they identify which credit union they're part with, then they go, then the person on that end can identify and help them from that point on, right? Even better, so Oahu does this, and then Maui does this, and then now we're working together, right? Sorry, I didn't have all the islands in here, but okay, here it is. Right, or a full convergence. Now, did I cover the 4 big islands? Right. Okay, thanks.
Las Vegas is missing.
Las Vegas. Oh, that's right. It's here. All right, and so now I want to talk about SECUA. So that was, the collaboration part. But SECUA, our mission is to simply provide a forum for collaboration. Because the one thing that we feel is missing is having a place for us to do this. We don't administer the collaboration. We don't have a back office. My executive assistant runs the administration of SECUA, and it's run by a steering committee, which is executives from credit unions. Our vision is that we're hoping that every credit union is collaborating. They don't have to be collaborating necessarily just with other credit union. It could be with their community. It could be with their business partner. Just a little history. So again, that was in 2008. We started off right off the bat after that meeting. I invited some friends, and I was expecting 20 people to show up. There were over 50 people in that room. And the room was smaller than this. So, and it was we tried to do that U shape or square shape. It was really tough to do it, but I was so glad that that many people was willing to talk about collaboration. So then we launched our website, and then finally we started adding some events. And I'll just go through this as I go through my presentation. I don't want to bore you with all this, but these are some of the things that are happening. And these are all the steering committee. And although these are estimated asset size, because I'm doing this off by my memory when I put this thing together, the point is you've got $1 billion credit